I have sewn a simple rectangular black pillow because the black fabric will be easy to see in the demonstration. The first thing you'll do is get your thread and tie a knot at the end and trim off the excess thread. I'm using an embroidery floss because it's thicker and it will show up better on the fabric so that you can see the stitches. So here's the opening in the fabric. It's been stuffed tightly. The tighter you stuff your plush, the easier it will be able to do the ladder stitch to close it. The first thing you'll do after you've threaded your needle with your thread is insert the needle through the wrong side of the fabric, coming out on the right side. This will conceal your knot. Then you'll insert the needle across the fabrics through the right side. Your thread is now coming out through the inside, and at this point you will thread back through that side, going through the wrong side into the right. Now you'll go across again, down through the right side of the fabric, coming out through the inside. Now we're just going to repeat. Go across, down through the right side, out through the inside. We'll do a couple more stitches and then we'll pull tight. You can see that it's beginning to form what looks like a ladder. It's best to pull tight when the thread is coming out. Like at this point, it would be good to pull tight. And if you feel like you have to pull too hard and you're going to break your thread, you can pinch the sides together as you pull. Now you can see it's starting to close the fabric. You want to make sure that when you're coming through you don't tangle your thread. If you pull the needle through like this, you will have tangled it in the thread. If you get lost or you get confused, you can always take your thread off your needle and undo a stitch. At this point, you'll have to re-thread your needle. You can see that the fabric is fraying a little bit on the edges. The best fabric to start out practicing the ladder stitch on are fabrics that don't fray. If you get a lot of fraying, you might want to trim off the frayed pieces before you start stitching your project closed. Normally you would want to use a complementary thread such as black for this project. But even though we're using a thicker thread that's even white, you can see that it's still being concealed pretty well by the stitch. Some of the best threads to use for this are thicker upholstery threads, but you can use any thread doubled. Now at the end, you'll go back through and come out somewhere along your stitch line, pull tight, tie a knot, and push back through on top of your knot. Wherever you've come out, pull hard and trim closely. The thread will vanish back with inside your object, and you've sewn it closed. Now you can see the white because we used a white thread, but it still has closed it well, and you can imagine if you'd used black you wouldn't be able to see it. And at this point we could always use some black fabric marker and go over that thread and cover it. So you can always use white thread and then use marker to hide it. And you have your little black pillow.